Hare Krishna. No, it's good. It's good. Hopefully we'll fill up in a few minutes. We don't want to miss Krishna lifting Govardhana Hill, the story. Very important. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavalabha Giribharadhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Giribharadhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavalabha Giribharadhari Gopi Janavalabha Giribharadhari Gopi Janavalabha Giribharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radhe. Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Gauda Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhangscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaudangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And for good measure, Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Mater Gati Matsarvasya Padam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano. Sisi Radha Madana Madan Mohan Ki Jai. So we're going to read, we can fit this in about 35 minutes, the whole story of Krishna lifting Govardhana Hill. And can add a little time for questions and answers, comments. And to begin, this is Bhagavatam. So we will first narrate Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, unto Nar Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdev, the author. We're reading, this is chapter 24, Worshipping Govardhana Hill. Now, we've heard this story hundreds of times, but the more we read and delve into the pastimes, the Leela of the Lord, the more we learn. It never gets old, it never becomes boring or tasteless. It's actually increasing. Anandamayo Vyasat, the Lord is full of ananda pleasure. His pleasure is ever increasing. And the pleasure of the devotees is also ever increasing. Yeah, this is chapter 24 of Krishna book. Yes. But there's also a lot of philosophy here too. So it's pleasure, there's philosophy, there's instructions, guidance, all kinds of very valuable and important things to learn from reading these stories over and over. And the more we become immersed in these leelas, these pastimes, then the ultimate goal will be attained. What is that ultimate goal? Is to enter into those pastimes, to become one of those gopis or one of those cowherd boys or one of the associates of the Lord, his friends, or his mother or father related to his mother, in the different, all the four primary rasas that we can accomplish through the practice of Krishna consciousness. So what we're reading today and hearing today, one day we will be there in the Leela, performing it with the Lord. So right now we're just like, you read a play script or something like that, and you enjoy reading the play script, and then you can even watch the performance. Go to the theater and watch the performance. But if you really want to, you can also participate in the performance. So Krishna is a great performer, and he has a great cast. And these wonderful leelas and performances are something that we all should desire to become a part of. This is our ultimate aim. So I'm going to read rather quickly. I may stop here and there just to say a few words. I got a couple of things I thought of. But it's most important just to hear the story, hear the narration, so we can become immersed in this Leela. Worshipping Govardhana Hill. While engaged with the Brahmanas who were too much involved in the performance of Vedic sacrifices, Krishna and Balaram also saw that the cowherd men were preparing a similar sacrifice in order to pacify Indra, the king of heaven, who was responsible for supplying water. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, a devotee of Krishna has strong and firm faith in the understanding that if he is simply engaged in Krishna consciousness and Krishna's transcendental loving service, then he is freed from all other obligations. A pure devotee of Lord Krishna doesn't have to perform any of the ritualistic functions enjoined in the Vedas, nor is he required to worship any demigods. Being a devotee of Lord Krishna, one is understood to have performed all kinds of Vedic rituals and all kinds of worship of the demigods. One does not develop devotional service for Krishna by performing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or worshiping the demigods, but it should be understood that one who is engaged fully in the service of the Lord has already fulfilled all Vedic injunctions. Pretty much in this one paragraph, Prabhupada has summarized the entire Bhagavad Gita. Right? We can quote so many verses related to every thought that's there. In order to stop all such activities by his devotees, Krishna wanted to firmly establish exclusive devotional service during his presence in Vrindavan. Because he is the omniscient personality of Godhead, Krishna knew that the cowherd men were preparing for the Indra sacrifice. But as a matter of etiquette, he began to inquire with great honor and submission from elder personalities like Maharaj Nanda. Krishna asked his father, "My dear father, what is this arrangement going on for a great sacrifice? What is the result of such a sacrifice? And for whom is it meant? How is it performed? Will you kindly let me know? I am very eager to know this procedure, so please explain to me the purpose of this sacrifice." Upon this inquiry, his father, Nanda Maharaj, remained silent, thinking that his young boy would not be able to understand the intricacies of performing the yajna. Krishna, however, persisted. "My dear father, for those who are liberal and saintly, there is no secrecy. They do not think anyone to be a friend, an enemy, or a neutral party because they are always open to everyone. And even for those who are not so liberal, nothing should be kept secret from the family members and friends, although secrecy may be maintained for persons who are inimical. Therefore, you cannot keep any secrets from me. All persons are engaged in fruitive activities. Some know what these activities are, and they know the result, and some execute activities without knowing the purpose or the result. A person who acts with full knowledge gets the full result. One who acts with knowledge one who acts without knowledge does not get such a perfect result. Therefore, please let me know the purpose of the sacrifice you are going to perform. Is it according to Vedic injunction, or is it simply a popular ceremony? Kindly let me know in detail about the sacrifice." On hearing this inquiry from Krishna, Nanda Maharaj replied, "My dear boy, this ceremonial performance is more or less traditional. Because rainfall is due to the mercy of King Indra, and the clouds are his representatives, and because water is so important for our living, we must show some gratitude to the controller of this rainfall, Maharaj Indra. We are arranging, therefore, to pacify King Indra because he has very kindly sent us clouds to pour down a sufficient quantity of rain for successful agricultural activities. Water is very important. Without rainfall, we cannot farm or produce grain, and without grain, we cannot live. Therefore, rain is necessary for successful religious ceremonies, economic development, and ultimately liberation. So we should not give up this traditional ceremonial function. If one gives it up being influenced by lust, greed, or fear, then it does not look very good for him." After hearing this, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the presence of his father and all the elder cowherd men of Vrindavan, spoke in such a way as to make heavenly King Indra very angry. So here begins Krishna's purpose here. First of all, he wants to teach us, through teaching the cowherd men, that all of these types of sacrifices to demigods are not necessary. Worshipping me is sufficient. And in order to execute this pastime, in order to teach this lesson, he has to create a big show by getting Indra angry. Yeah, he has to incite the anger of the rain god Indra in order to create this whole pastime so that Krishna can teach a lesson to humanity. And to Indra, yes, who became puffed up and forgetful. So that's another teaching here in this story, that we can, anyone in the material world, until we are 100% Krishna conscious, can become puffed up and forgetful of Krishna. What to speak of devotees who are trying to remember Krishna, materialists and non-devotees are always forgetful of Krishna. After hearing this, Krishna, he suggested that they forego the sacrifice. His reasons for discouraging the sacrifice performed to please Indra were twofold. First, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no need to worship the demigods for any material advancement. All results derived from worshiping the demigods are simply temporary, and only those who are less intelligent are interested in temporary results. Second, whatever temporary result one derives from worshiping the demigods is actually granted by the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is all from Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Chapter 7. It is clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayaiva vihitan hitan. Whatever benefit is supposed to be derived from the demigods is actually bestowed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot bestow any benefit upon others. But sometimes the demigods become puffed up by the influence of material nature, thinking themselves all in all. They forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated that in this instance, Krishna wanted to make King Indra angry. Krishna's advent was especially meant for the annihilation of the demons and the protection of the devotees. King Indra was certainly a devotee, not a demon, but because he was puffed up, Krishna wanted to teach him a lesson. He first made Indra angry by stopping the Indra Puja, which had been arranged by the cowherd men in Vrindavan. With this purpose in mind, Krishna began to talk as if he were an atheist, supporting the philosophy of karma mimamsa. Advocates of this philosophy do not accept the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. They put forward the argument that if anyone works nicely, the result is sure to come. Their opinion is that even if there is a God who gives man the result of his fruitive activities, there is no need to worship him, because unless man works, he cannot bestow any good result. He, meaning the Supreme Lord, cannot bestow any good result. They say that instead of worshiping a demigod or God, people should give attention to their own duties, and thus the good result will surely come. Lord Krishna began to speak to his father according to these principles of the karma mimamsa philosophy. So this karma mimamsa is very popular in India, and obviously it seems that it's been popular for thousands of years. And the foundation, the basis of this whole philosophy is just do your duty and the results will come. Through your activities, by performing your duties, you all automatically will get the results, whether you believe in God or don't believe in God or the demigods or worship them or don't worship them, the results will come. So that's called karma mimamsa. But the fault in the philosophy is there's no acknowledgement of the Supreme Lord. So like every philosophy in the material world, if we analyze any we put it this way, non-Krishna, non-Vaishnav philosophy, all of them, to one extent, greater or lesser, are focused on enjoyment, focused on the living entity being the enjoyer. So Krishna is speaking this philosophy to dissuade Nanda Maharaj from worshipping Indra. And he's saying, oh, we are all enjoyers. Things come by our work. If we engage in good work, pious work, we'll get good results and everything will be fine and we'll be happy. And then after we pass away, after we die, leave this body, this world, we'll go to the heavenly planets and receive further punya and good results for our activities. So this is the philosophy that Krishna is stating here. And he's doing this to anger Indra by stopping the yajna. He's convincing Maharaj Nanda, not immediately, but he becomes, okay, Krishna, whatever you say. There's so much in love with Krishna. Whatever you say, we'll do it this way. So here's how it begins. Krishna is speaking this karma mimamsa philosophy. My dear father, he said, I don't think you need to worship any demigod for the successful performance of your agricultural activities. Every living being is born according to his past karma and leaves this life simply taking the result of his present karma. Everyone is born into different types or species of life according to his past activities, and he gets his next birth according to the activities of this life. Different grades of material happiness and distress, comforts and disadvantages of life are different results of different kinds of activities from either the past or present life. So we also teach this, right? We also believe this. But again, the difference is, if we only believe this without recognizing that behind everything, behind the actions of the demigods, behind the results of our activities is the sanction of the Supreme Lord, then that's the difference in the philosophies. Just as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 different factors of action. The ultimate factor which causes the result to be brought about is Daivi, is the Lord, with the help of the demigods. So without these factors being prominent, that's the difference between Karma Mimamsa philosophy and Vaishnava philosophy. Maharaj Nanda and other elder members argue that without satisfying the predominating God, one cannot derive any good results simply by material activities. So Nanda Maharaj is arguing the right thing. See, he's disagreeing with Krishna. This is actually the fact. For example, it is sometimes found that in spite of first-class medical help and treatment by a first-class physician, a diseased person dies. It is concluded, therefore, that first-class medical treatment or the attempts of a first-class physician are not in themselves the cause for curing a patient. There must be the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, a father's and mother's taking care of their children is not the cause of the children's comfort. Sometimes it is found that in spite of all care by the parents, the children go bad or succumb to death. Therefore, material causes are not sufficient for results. There must be the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nanda Maharaj therefore advocated that in order to get good results for agricultural activities, they must satisfy Indra, the superintending deity of the rain supply. Lord Krishna nullified this argument, saying that the demigods give results only to persons who have executed their prescribed duties. The demigods cannot give any good results to the person who has not executed the prescribed duties. Therefore, demigods are dependent on the execution of duties and are not absolute in awarding good results to anyone. So why should one care about them? My dear father, Krishna said, there is no need to worship the demigod Indra. Everyone has to achieve the result of his own work. We can actually see that one becomes busy according to the natural tendency of his work. And according to that natural tendency, all living entities, whether human beings or demigods, achieve their respective results. All living entities achieve higher or lower bodies and create enemies, friends, or neutral parties only because of their different kinds of work. One should be careful to discharge duties according to his natural instinct and not divert attention to the worship of various demigods. The demigods will be satisfied by proper execution of all duties, so there is no need to worship them. Let us rather perform our prescribed duties very nicely. Actually, one cannot be happy without executing his proper prescribed duty. One who does not therefore properly discharge his prescribed duties is compared to an unchaste wife
The proper prescribed duty of the Brahmanas is the study of the Vedas. The proper duty of the royal order, the Kshatriyas, is engagement in protecting the citizens. The proper duty of the Vaishya community is agriculture, trade, and the protection of the cows. And the proper duty of the Shudras is service to the higher classes, namely Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. We belong to the Vaishya community, and our proper duty is to farm, to trade with the agricultural produce, to protect the cows, or to take to banking. Krishna identified himself with the Vaishya community because Nanda Maharaj was protecting many cows, and Krishna was taking care of them. He enumerated 4 kinds of business engagements for the Vaishya community, namely agriculture, trade, protection of the cows, and banking. Although the Vaishyas can take to any of these occupations, the men of Vrindavan were engaged primarily in the protection of cows. Krishna further explained to his father, this cosmic manifestation is going on under the influence of 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. These 3 modes are the causes of creation, maintenance, and destruction. The cloud is caused by the action of the mode of passion. Therefore, it is the mode of passion which causes the rainfall. Now we know the answer. Therefore, it is the mode of passion which causes the rainfall. And after the rainfall, the living entities derive the result, success in agricultural work. What then has Indra to do with this affair? Even if you do not please Indra, what can he do? We do not derive any special benefit from Indra. Even if he is there, he pours water on the ocean also, where there is no need of water. So he is pouring water on the ocean or on the land. It does not depend on our worshiping him. Nanda Maharaj has been defeated by his young son Krishna, the cowherd boy. As far as we are concerned, we do not need to go to another city or village or foreign country. There are palatial buildings in the cities, but we are satisfied living in this forest of Vrindavan. Our special relationship is with Govardhan Hill and Vrindavan forest and nothing more. I therefore request you, my dear father, to begin a sacrifice which will satisfy the local Brahmanas and Govardhan Hill, and let us have nothing to do with Indra. After hearing this statement by Krishna, Nanda Maharaj replied, my dear boy, since you are asking, I shall arrange for a separate sacrifice for the local Brahmanas and Govardhan Hill. But for the present, let me execute this sacrifice known as Indra Yagya. But Krishna replied, my dear father, don't delay. The sacrifice you propose for Govardhan and the local Brahmanas will take much time. Better take the arrangement and paraphernalia you have already made for the Indra Yagya and immediately engage them to satisfy Govardhan Hill and the local Brahmanas. Maharaj Nanda finally relented. Okay, Krishna, we love you so much. Whatever you say, we accept. That's not here, I'm just saying that. And Krishna gave the following directions. Prepare very nice foods of all descriptions from the grain and ghee collected for the yagya. Prepare rice, dal, then halava, pakora, puri, and all kinds of milk preparations such as sweet rice, rabri, sweet balls, sandesh, rasgulla, and ladu, and invite the learned brahmanas who can chant the Vedic hymns and offer oblations to the fire. The brahmana should be given all kinds of grain in charity. Then decorate all the cows and feed them well. After performing this, give money in charity to the brahmanas. As far as the lower animals are concerned, such as the dogs and the lower grades of people, such as the chandalas, or the fifth class of men who are considered untouchable, they also may be given sumptuous prasadam. After nice grasses have been given to the cows, the sacrifice known as Govardhana Puja may immediately begin. This sacrifice will very much satisfy me. In this statement, Lord Krishna practically describes the whole economy of the Vaishya community. In all communities in human society, including the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and Chandalas, and in the animal kingdom, including the cows, dogs, goats, etc., everyone has his part to play. Each is to work in cooperation for the total benefit of all society, which includes not only animate objects, but also inanimate objects like hills and land. The Vaishya community is specifically responsible for the economic improvement of the society by producing grain, by giving protection to the cows, by transporting food when needed, and by banking and finance. I'm going to skip a little here because I want to get to the final lifting of Govardhana Hill. We have about 20 minutes left. We'll go down skip 2 paragraphs. Huh? I'm supposed to stop at 7, right? I think there's
7:30, Prabhu. You can go on.
I can go till 7:30?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. From this statement, we learn also that although the cats and dogs, which have now become so important, are not to be neglected, cow protection is actually more important than protection of cats and dogs. Another hint we get from this statement is that the Chandalas, or the untouchables, are also not to be neglected by the higher classes and should be given necessary protection. Everyone is important, but some are directly responsible for the advancement of human society, and some are only indirectly responsible. However, when Krishna consciousness is there, then everyone's total benefit is taken care of. The sacrifice known as Govardhana Puja is observed in the Krishna consciousness movement. Lord Chaitanya has recommended that since Krishna is worshipable, so his land, Vrindavan and Govardhana Hill, is also worshipable. To confirm this statement, Lord Krishna said that Govardhana Puja is as good as worship of him. From that day, Govardhana Puja has been going on and is known as Anakut. In all the temples of Vrindavan or outside of Vrindavan, huge quantities of food are prepared in this ceremony and are very sumptuously distributed to the general population. Sometimes the food is thrown to the crowds and they enjoy collecting it off the ground. From this we can understand that prasadam offered to Krishna never becomes polluted or contaminated, even if it is thrown on the ground. The people therefore collect and eat it with great satisfaction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna therefore advised the cowherd men to stop the Indra Yagya and begin the Govardhana Puja in order to chastise Indra, who was very much puffed up at being the supreme controller of the heavenly planets. The honest and simple cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, accepted Krishna's proposal and executed in detail everything he advised. A wonderful lesson in pure devotion. Whatever Krishna says, it doesn't matter. We execute Krishna's order. Arjuna fought the battle of Kurukshetra because Krishna ordered him. Otherwise, personally, he had no inclination whatsoever to fight with his friends, his relatives, his well-wishers, people that he knew. Rather, he would have restrained himself and lived a life of a reclusive life, forgiving his enemies. But instead, because Krishna ordered him, he fought. Sometimes people criticize that, well, if Krishna were to tell you to jump off of this building, would you do it? But there's an argument for that. Krishna would not tell us to do such a thing, such a ridiculous thing as that. Rather, Krishna would tell us to do things that are reasonable, that are for a particular purpose, that have some meaning. So here the meaning is to teach Indra this lesson, that you are not the all in all within this universe. And on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there was a lesson to be taught, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya taduskritam, to destroy the demons, to establish the devotees. So for that reason, Krishna had to establish his devotees and annihilate the demons. Sometimes it's necessary to kill. Prabhupada said this idea of non-violence is not practical. Violence always exists in this material world. There's not unless everyone was a pure devotee in this material world would there be non-violence. So non-violence simply doesn't exist in this material world. So Krishna comes to establish his devotees, he gives his orders, he teaches the Bhagavad Gita. Here he's asking the cowherd men, simply perform this Govardhana Puja and all your purposes will be fulfilled. And as pure devotees of the Lord, they simply bowed to the Lord's will. They performed Govardhan worship and circumambulation of the hill. Following the inauguration of Govardhana Puja, people in Vrindavan still dress nicely and assemble near Govardhan Hill to offer worship and circumambulate the hill, leading their cows all around. According to the instruction of Lord Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men called in learned brahmanas and began to worship Govardhan Hill by chanting Vedic hymns and offering prasadam. The inhabitants of Vrindavan assembled together, decorated their cows, and gave them grass. Keeping the cows in front, they began to circumambulate Govardhan Hill. The gopis dressed themselves very luxuriantly and sat in bull-driven carts, chanting the glories of Krishna's pastimes. The brahmanas assembled there to act as priests for Govardhana Puja, offered their blessings to the cowherd men and their wives, the gopis. So every detail, exactly as Krishna instructed, the cowherd men, cowherd women, the brahmanas, all these devotees of the Lord followed explicitly every detail of the Lord in the worship of Govardhan Hill. And we are also doing that here. We're creating a nice hill. We're doing the arti. We're distributing prasadam, chanting the glories of the Lord, hearing from the devotees, the brahmanas, chanting the holy names. So we're doing the same instruction as they're being carried out, as Krishna has instructed. When everything was complete, Krishna assumed a great transcendental form and declared to the inhabitants of Vrindavan that he was himself Govardhan Hill, in order to convince the devotees that Govardhan Hill and Krishna himself are identical. Then Krishna began to eat all the food offered there. The identity of Krishna and Govardhan Hill is still honored, and great devotees take rocks from Govardhan Hill and worship them exactly as they worship the deity of Krishna in the temples. The followers of the Krishna consciousness movement may therefore collect small rocks or pebbles from Govardhan Hill and worship them at home, because this worship is as good as deity worship. The form of Krishna who began to eat the offerings was separately constituted, and Krishna himself, along with the other inhabitants of Vrindavan, offered obeisances to the deity as well as to Govardhan Hill. In offering obeisances to the huge form of Krishna and Govardhan Hill, Krishna declared, "Just see how Govardhan Hill has assumed this huge form and is favoring us by accepting all the offerings." Krishna also declared at that meeting, "One who neglects the worship of Govardhan Puja as I am personally conducting it will not be happy. There are many snakes on Govardhan Hill, and persons neglecting the prescribed duty of Govardhan Puja will be bitten by these snakes and killed." That's pretty severe. See how such an important puja that Krishna is establishing, more than the worship of any demigod or any other personality within the material world, Lord Krishna is directing us to worship Govardhana Hill. And consequences are, if you don't worship Govardhana Hill, you'll be bitten by snakes and die. Such a strict injunction, but it's so important. In order to assure the good fortune of the cows and themselves, all people of Vrindavan near Govardhan, remember this is Krishna still speaking, all people of Vrindavan near Govardhan must worship the hill as prescribed by me. This is almost as important as Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Just surrender unto me, give up all forms of religiosity. Krishna is saying, and this injunction, just worship everyone in Vrindavan must worship Govardhana Hill. Thus, performing the Govardhana Puja sacrifice, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan followed the instructions of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, and afterwards they returned to their respective homes. Now we get to the exciting part. Devastating rainfall in Vrindavan. So Krishna has incited the anger of King Indra, the demigod in charge of the rain. He's instructed the cowherd men to give up the worship of Indra, to stop the sacrifice to Indra, which was mainly just a tradition, and to kind of recognize him for providing the rain, without which the grains in the fields would not grow, agriculture would not be possible. But Krishna doesn't recognize that. As we know in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that the worship of demigods, the results of worshiping the demigods is temporary, and we should not engage in that sort of worship. And actually, it is only because of him that the demigods are able to bestow those benedictions. Does anyone remember those verses? 2 verses. In chapter 7, I'm forgetting. Devastating rainfall in Vrindavan. When Indra understood that the sacrifice that was to be offered by the cowherd men in Vrindavan had been stopped by Krishna, he became angry, and he vented his anger upon the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were headed by Nanda Maharaj, although Indra knew perfectly well that Krishna was personally protecting them. As the director of different kinds of clouds, Indra called for the Samvartika. This cloud is invited when there is a need to devastate the whole cosmic manifestation. So the clouds that we see in the sky, we think, oh, they're just puffy, gaseous creations. But actually, through the Vedic version, we can understand that behind everything there's a person. Behind every planet, behind every feature of the universe, the rain, the sunshine, the clouds, behind every aspect of the universe, there is some person behind it. So this goes against all that we've learned in modern materialistic civilization. The mechanistic actions of the universe are simply acting automatically. There are some laws involved, but it's all just happened by chance, and it's all happening automatically. No one is in control. So here, these Samvartika or Samvartika clouds are called by Indra. These are special clouds that only come around during the time of devastation of the universe. They might be very powerful clouds because they fill up half the universe with water at the time of devastation, covering all the planetary systems except for a few that remain in the higher planetary areas. This cloud is invited when there is need to devastate the whole cosmic manifestation. The Samvartika was ordered by Indra to go over Vrindavan and inundate the whole area with an extensive flood. Demonically, Indra thought himself to be the all-powerful Supreme Personality. When demons become very powerful, they defy the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead. Indra, though not a demon, was puffed up by his material position, and he wanted to challenge the Supreme Controller. He thought himself, at least for the time being, as powerful as Krishna. Indra said, "Just see the impudence of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. They are simply inhabitants of the forest, but being infatuated with their friend Krishna, who is nothing but an ordinary human being, they have dared to defy the demigods." Now we know that verse from Bhagavad Gita, "Avadananti mamudha manushim tanumashrita parambhavam ajananto mamavyam manutamam." The fools deride Krishna as being like a human being because they don't recognize his higher nature. They don't recognize his true nature as the Supreme Person beyond this cosmic manifestation, who is creating and maintaining and destroying and controlling every aspect of the material creation. And unfortunately, Indra has become infected by this same attitude. He has forgotten who Krishna is. He's become influenced by pride, and he now thinks he is the most important person within the universe. Krishna has declared in the Bhagavad Gita that the worship of the demigods are not, the worshippers of the demigods are not very intelligent. He has also declared that one has to give up all kinds of worship and simply concentrate on Krishna consciousness. Krishna's invoking the anger of Indra and later on chastising him is a clear indication to his devotees that those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness have no need to worship any demigod, even if it is found that the demigod has become angry. Krishna gives his devotees all protection, and they should completely depend on his mercy. So what a extreme, it's a very extreme teaching, in a sense, to simply surrender to God, simply surrender to the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and rely on Him, no matter what. Even if nobody else accepts you, even if nobody else agrees, this kind of shraddha, this kind of faith in Krishna is what we are trying to achieve through Krishna consciousness, and that's what Krishna is trying to teach here, that it's simply not necessary to worship any demigod, it's not necessary to follow any other philosophy or engage in yoga or meditation or karma or sacrifice or worship of any demigods. This is the ultimate instruction of Lord Krishna, and he's again teaching it here to his devotees in Vrindavan, and also teaching Indra the same lesson. Indra cursed the action of the inhabitants of Vrindavan and said, "By defying the authority of the demigods, the inhabitants of Vrindavan will suffer in material existence. Having neglected the sacrifice to the demigods, they cannot cross over the impediments of the ocean of material existence." Indra further declared, "These cowherd men in Vrindavan have neglected my authority on the advice of this talkative boy who is known as Krishna. He is nothing but a child, and by believing this child, they have enraged me." Thus he ordered the Samvartika cloud to go and destroy the prosperity of Vrindavan. "The men of Vrindavan," said Indra, "have become too puffed up over their material opulence and are overconfident due to the presence of their tiny friend Krishna. He is simply talkative, childish, and unaware of the complete cosmic situation. Oh boy, he's really saying a load here. He's really forgotten who he is and who Krishna is. Because they have taken Krishna so seriously, they must be punished. In the Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna says that those of us who are in this material world, we're overcome by the duality of desire and hate. Does anyone know that Sanskrit? Chapter 7 also. Yes, say it. Yes, Raga Dvesha verse. Te Dvand, yes, I can't remember. I'm rusty on my verses. Don't get to speak classes often enough. But anyway, yes, we're overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. So here, Indra desires to be the enjoyer, and conversely, he hates Krishna. He hates the Supreme Person. This is the infection of Maya. This is the infection of our desire to enjoy, is this desire and hatred or envy of God, as exemplified by Indra here. It is indicated, it is indicated here that in the villages or outside the towns, the inhabitants must depend on the cows for their prosperity. When the cows are destroyed, the people are destitute of all kinds of opulences. When King Indra ordered the Samvartika and companion clouds to go to Vrindavan, the clouds were afraid of doing this mischief. But King Indra assured them, "You go ahead, and I will also go, riding on my elephant, accompanied by great storms, and I shall apply all my strength to punishing the inhabitants of Vrindavan." Ordered by King Indra, all the dangerous clouds appeared above Vrindavan and began to pour water incessantly with all their strength and power. There was constant lightning and thunder, blowing of severe wind, and incessant falling of rain. The rainfall seemed to fall like piercing sharp arrows. By pouring water as thick as pillars without cessation, the clouds gradually filled all the lands in Vrindavan with water, and there was no visible distinction between higher and lower land. The situation was very dangerous, especially for the animals. The rainfall was accompanied by great winds, and every living creature in Vrindavan began to tremble from the severe cold. Unable to find any other source of deliverance, they all approached Govinda to take shelter at his lotus feet. The cows, especially, being much aggrieved from the heavy rain, bowed down their heads, and taking their calves underneath their bodies, they approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead to take shelter of his lotus feet. At that time, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan began to pray to Lord Krishna. "Dear Krishna," they prayed, "you are all-powerful, and you are very affectionate to your devotees. Now please protect us, who have been very much harassed by angry Indra." So another small lesson here. The devotee always takes shelter of Krishna. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, they could have become angry with Krishna, right? Well, why did you tell us to worship Govardhana Hill instead of worship Indra? It's all your fault. But they didn't think like that. Rather, they set a wonderful example that when in danger, a devotee goes exclusively to the Lord. A devotee goes exclusively to Lord Krishna for protection. So that's another small lesson. Every action here, every word in the Shastras, everything that the Lord says, that the devotee says or does, is all a practical lesson for us to follow and learn from. So here we're learning that in the greatest danger, because these stories, we're meant to put ourselves in the place of these inhabitants of Vrindavan. What if there was a great inundation and flood with torrential rains and hail? What would we do? Would we take shelter of Krishna? And if our lives were threatened, what would we do? Would we jump in our car and try to leave town? Would we go to somewhere and take shelter, or we take shelter of Krishna? So this is an example that in the greatest danger, when our lives are threatened, Krishna is our only recourse to take shelter of. Upon hearing their prayer, Krishna could understand that Indra, being bereft of his sacrificial honor, was pouring down rain that was accompanied by heavy pieces of ice and strong winds, although all this was out of season. Krishna understood that this was a deliberate exhibition of anger by Indra. He therefore concluded, "This demigod who thinks himself supreme has shown his great power, but I shall answer him according to my position, and I shall teach him that he is not autonomous in managing universal affairs. I am the Supreme Lord over all, and I shall thus take away his false prestige, which has risen from his power." So here Krishna is acting just like a little boy. Oh, why is this happening? I can understand that it must be Indra, but actually I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so I'm going to teach Indra a lesson. So Krishna likes to also put himself into a state of, we can't call it illusion, but it's part of Yoga Maya's illusion, the pastime Maya, which gives Krishna more and more pleasure in his pastimes with his devotees, Yoga Maya, as opposed to the Mahamaya, which puts the conditioned soul, the forgetful soul, into the illusion of forgetting that he's the servant of God. So this other Maya, Yoga Maya, is the potency of Krishna, the Shakti of Krishna, which develops his pastimes so that he can teach, so that he can enjoy, so that he can feel and experience reciprocation with all of his devotees. So here he's feeling like an ordinary little child. Why is this happening? Where's the rain? What's going on here? This is King Indra. But then he knows I'm the Supreme Person, and I shall teach Indra a lesson according to my position. So he can there's a nice, I hate to digress too much, but there's this example. The atheist says, can your God create a stone that he cannot lift? What's the answer? Can God create a stone that he cannot lift? Oh yes, God can create a stone that he can do anything. So he can create a stone that he cannot lift. Then the atheist will argue, well, if that's the case, then he's not God because he can't lift that stone. If there's a stone he can't lift, then he's not God. So this is false logic. It is logic, but there's transcendental logic that we as devotees, we understand that Krishna can create a rock that he cannot lift. But then, out of his sweet will, he can lift it. So he can do both. God can do both. He is the resolver of all contradictions. All contradictions are resolved in the absolute. He's both near and far. He's inside, he's outside. He's a person. He's Brahman, the energy. He's all opposites as the supreme absolute truth. So all contradictions are resolved in the absolute. So Krishna can play like an ordinary boy as if he doesn't know what's going on. And there are many pastimes like this with Krishna in his leelas. Sometimes he even becomes bewildered when that demon, what was his name, Dantavaka, one of those demons, created a form of his father Vasudeva. And then he cut off the head of this illusory form of Vasudeva and showed it to Krishna. And Krishna became bewildered, totally bewildered. Oh, you've killed my father. But then he remembered who he was, and he killed the demon. So Krishna can play both parts. That's how he enjoys his leela, his pastimes. He can create all kinds of situations just to enjoy different kinds of pastime. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the supreme enjoyer, the self-delighted Supreme Person, that he can create all kinds of pastimes for his enjoyment, and they can be opposites. And we as human beings, as conditioned souls, think, oh, he's just an ordinary person. So one must understand the science of Krishna consciousness in order to really understand who Krishna is. So we'll go on. The demigods are my devotees, and therefore it is not possible for them to forget my supremacy, but somehow or other Indra has become puffed up with material power and thus is now maddened. I shall act in such a way as to relieve him of this false prestige. I shall give protection to my pure devotees in Vrindavan, who are at present completely dependent on my mercy, and whom I have taken completely under my protection. I must save them by my mystic power. So here's another example, is that by one action, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can achieve many, many different purposes. He can destroy the pride of Indra, and at the same time exhibit protection to his devotees and allow them to fully depend on him. So many actions are accomplished, or many purposes are accomplished by one action of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thinking in this way, Lord Krishna immediately picked up Govardhana Hill with one hand, exactly as a child picks up a mushroom from the ground. Thus, he exhibited his transcendental pastime of lifting Govardhana Hill. Haribo, Haribo. So here's another example. So the people who are non-devotees, they will say, well, this is just a story, this is just mythology. How can anybody, but to speak of a little child, 5, 6 years old, lift up a mountain with his hand and hold it on his pinky for 7 days? 7 years old. He's 7 years old. This must be a story. This must be a story. Even the impersonalists, even many impersonalists, don't believe in these stories in Bhagavatam. It's all mythology. It's all just stories, just to induce some kind of sense of worship. But we know this is not a story. This is actual history. When we hear this, as I said in the beginning, most of you were not here. We are hearing these stories, these leelas, these pastimes of Lord Krishna, because one day we are all going to be part of this pastime. We're going to be first, after leaving our material bodies in devotional service, having perfected devotion, we are going to go to the Bhoma Lila. All these pastimes are taking place on the earth. The earth pastimes of the Lord, they're called Bhoma Lila. They're in Gokul. In Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, this is our ultimate destination. But the soul that becomes perfect in devotional service first goes to Bhoma Lila, the pastimes of Krishna in the material world, and there perfects his devotional service, experiences the pastimes, and then finally goes to Golok. In Golok, Krishna doesn't lift Govardhana Hill. I'm not sure, Govardhana Hill is there, I believe, but he doesn't lift it. He doesn't need to protect his devotees from the wrath of King Indra. That takes place in the material world. And Prabhupada says it was just like a road show, that the pastimes are taking place on this earth, and then they go to another earth in some other universe, and then another universe and another universe. Krishna is appearing in all the universes somewhere to display his pastimes. So this Bhoma Lila pastime, we are going to enter into these pastimes. That is our goal. These are not just nice stories just to make us feel good or worship some impersonal absolute. This is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, displaying his pastimes as the Supreme Person. Thus he exhibited his transcendental pastime of lifting Govardhan Hill. Lord Krishna then addressed his devotees. My dear brothers, my dear father, my dear inhabitants of Vrindavan, you can now safely enter under the umbrella of Govardhan Hill, which I have just lifted. Do not be afraid of the hill and think that it will fall from my hand. You have been too much afflicted from the heavy rain and strong wind. Therefore I have lifted this hill, which will protect you exactly like a huge umbrella. Krishna is a genius. How can you protect all the inhabitants of Vrindavan from rain? So he lifts a hill, and it's just like an umbrella. Just like we take an umbrella and open it up and protect ourselves from the rain, Krishna takes a mountain, lifts it up, holds it on his finger like an umbrella. I think this is a proper arrangement to relieve you of your immediate distress. Be happy along with your animals underneath this great umbrella. Being assured by Lord Krishna, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan entered beneath the great hill along with their property and animals, and they all appeared to be safe. The inhabitants of Vrindavan and their animals remained there for 1 week without being disturbed by hunger, thirst, or any other discomforts. They were simply astonished to see how Krishna was holding up the mountain with the little finger of his left hand. Not even his right hand. Krishna's right-handed. He's doing it with his left hand. Seeing the extraordinary mystic power of Krishna, Indra, the king of heaven, was thunderstruck. Literally, thunderstruck. And baffled in his determination, he immediately called for all the clouds and asked them to desist. When the sky became completely cleared of all clouds and there was sunrise again, the strong wind stopped. At that time, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known now as the lifter of Govardhan Hill, said, "My dear cowherd men, now you can leave and take your wives, children, cows, and valuables, because everything is ended. The inundation has gone down along with the swelling waters of the river." All the men loaded their valuables onto carts and slowly left with their cows and other paraphernalia. After they had cleared out everything, Lord Krishna very slowly replaced Govardhan Hill exactly in the same position as it had been before. When everything was done, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan approached Krishna with feelings of love and embraced him with great ecstasy. The gopis, being naturally very affectionate to Krishna, began to offer him yogurt mixed with their tears, and they poured incessant blessings upon him. Mother Yashoda, Mother Rohini, Nanda and Balaram, who is the strongest of the strong, embraced Krishna one after another, and from spontaneous feelings of affection, blessed him over and over again. In the heavens, different demigods from different planetary systems, such as Siddhalok, Gandharvalok, and Charanalok, also began to show their complete satisfaction. They poured showers of flowers on the surface of the earth and sounded different conch shells. There was beating of drums, and being inspired by godly feelings, residents of Gandharva Lok began to play on the tamburas to please the Lord. After this incident, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, surrounded by his dear friends and the animals, returned to his home. As usual, the gopis began to chant the glorious pastimes of Lord Krishna with great feeling, for they were chanting from the heart. I'm going to skip the chapter Wonderful Krishna. I want to go to read a little bit of chapter 27. Prayers by Indra, the king of heaven. So by now, Indra, his pride having been crushed, completely crushed by the Lord, he is extremely forlorn and repentant, as we can imagine. Like sometimes if we have that experience, we've done something foolish, we become puffed up, and somehow or other by the Lord's mercy and arrangement, we have our pride smashed. It's a good idea to pray and thank the Lord for divesting us of our pride. As they say, pride comes before the fall. Pride cometh before the fall. One of the worst things we can experience in our devotional progress is pride. Different kinds of pride. And feel better than other devotees, or worshipable by devotees, or I know more than other devotees, or I even know more than my guru. These sort of types of pride do come. And by the Lord's mercy, another lesson here is we can have our pride removed by His grace. So this whole pastime is a lesson in dealing with pride and other things. But it's a whole lesson in dealing with pride, and here's how Indra dealt with that pride. When Krishna saved the inhabitants of Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra by lifting Govardhana hill, a Surabhi cow from Goloka Vrindavan, as well as King Indra from the heavenly planets, appeared before him. Indra, the king of heaven, was conscious of his offense before Krishna. Therefore, he stealthily appeared before him in a secluded place. He was a little embarrassed. He didn't want anyone else to see. A secluded place. He immediately fell down at the lotus feet of Krishna, although his own crown was dazzling like sunshine. Indra knew about the exalted position of Krishna because Krishna is the master of Indra, but he could not believe that Krishna could come down and live in Vrindavan among the cowherd men. When Krishna defied the authority of Indra, Indra became angry because he thought that he was all in all within this universe and that no one was as powerful as he. But after this incident, his false, puffed-up prestige was destroyed. Being conscious of his subordinate position, he appeared before Krishna with folded hands and began to offer the following prayers. These are really remarkable and wonderful prayers. We'll try to get through. Well, we only have about 5 minutes. So. My dear Lord, Indra said, being puffed up by my false prestige, I thought that you had offended me by not allowing the cowherd men to perform the Indra Yagya. And I thought you wanted to enjoy the offerings that were arranged for the sacrifice. I thought that in the name of a Govardhan sacrifice, you were taking my share of the profit, and therefore I mistook your position. Now, by your grace, I can understand that you are the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, and that you are transcendental to all material qualities. Your transcendental position is Vishuddha Sattva, which is above the platform of the material mode of goodness, and your transcendental abode is beyond the disturbance of the material qualities. Your name, fame, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes are all beyond this material nature, and they are never disturbed by the three material modes. Your abode is accessible only for one who undergoes severe austerities and penances and becomes completely freed from the onslaught of material qualities like passion and ignorance. If someone thinks that when you enter within this material world, you accept the modes of material nature, he is mistaken. The waves of the material qualities are never able to touch you, and you certainly do not accept them when you are present within this world. Your lordship is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. My dear Lord, you are the original Father of this cosmic manifestation. You are the supreme spiritual master of this cosmic world, and you are the original proprietor of everything. As eternal time, you are competent to chastise offenders. Within this material world, there are many fools like me who consider themselves to be the Supreme Lord or the all-in-all within the universe. You are so merciful that without accepting their offenses, you devise means so that their false prestige is subdued and they can know that you and no one else are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Father, the Supreme Spiritual Master, and the Supreme King. Therefore, you have the right to chastise all living entities whenever there is any discrepancy in their behavior. The Father, the Spiritual Master, and the Supreme Executive Officer of the state are always well-wishers of their sons, their students, and their citizens, respectively. As such, the well-wishers have the right to chastise their dependents. By your own desire, you appear auspiciously on the earth in your eternal varieties of forms. You come to glorify the earthly planet, and specifically to chastise persons who are falsely claiming to be God. In the material world, there is regular competition between different types of living entities to become supreme leaders of society, and after being frustrated in achieving the supreme positions of leadership, foolish persons claim to be God, the Supreme Personality. There are many such foolish personalities in this world, like me. But in due course of time, when they come to their senses, they surrender unto you and again engage themselves properly by rendering service unto you. And that is the purpose of your chastising persons envious of you. My dear Lord, I committed a great offense unto your lotus feet, being falsely proud of my material opulences, not knowing your unlimited power. Therefore, my Lord, kindly excuse me, because I am fool number one. Kindly give me your blessings so that I may not act so foolishly again. If you think, my Lord, that the offense is very great and cannot be excused, then I appeal to you that I am your eternal servant. You appear in this world to give protection to your eternal servants and to destroy the demons who maintain great military strength, just to burden the very existence of the earth. I just want to say one last thing. As I am your eternal servant, kindly excuse me. However, even though Indra is saying here, give me your blessings so that I may not act so foolishly again, what do we know happens again? We know the story of Krishna going to Indralok to take the Parijata tree for Satyabhama. And what happens? Indra tries to stop him, and a battle ensues. See, Indra forgets again. This is the nature of material. You see, the demigods are devotees of the Lord. All the devas are servants of Vishnu, but they are called mixed devotees. They are not pure devotees. They still have material desire, and they tend to forget Krishna's will, and Krishna being the Supreme Lord. So, very dangerous condition. We have to become pure. This is the lesson. We must become pure devotees so we don't forget Krishna anymore. That's the bottom line for all of us. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. All glory is to the lifter of Govardhan Hill, Sri Sri Radha Giridhari Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Sunanda Prabhu ki. Bolo big Hari Bol. Hari Bol. So I think program would be now we'll have the Gaur Artik as well as the Govardhana Puja. Artik also will be simultaneously done. And after the Gaur Artik, just not after after the Govardhana Puja, everybody is welcome to circumambulate 7 times, which is equivalent to circumambulate the Govardhan Hill. This is a special day. So at this after circumambulating, so 8 o'clock we'll have the Damodara Ashtakam. So everybody will be on the queue and offer ghee lamp to Radha Madan Mohan and Radha Damodar. So 8:20 we'll have Gopi Gita. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Damodara Ashtakam. And then 8:20 also Gopi Gita will continue, but those who are not able to finish their offering to Ghilam, still it will be on the line. But Damodara Ashtakam will be stopping at 8:20 and 8:30 we'll have the Gopi Gita. So just after Gaur Aarti we'll have 5 minutes for doing the nursing prayer. So I hope every Aarti players are ready for doing their job, right? Okay, thank you very much. So please stand up and keep all these things on the side and join for the Aarti. Hare Krishna. And Prasadam will be there definitely at 8:30.
So Hare Krishna, don't rush on the table. We'll have a couple of people who will do crowd control. Please try form a single line so that the Govardhan doesn't fall or you don't fall on the Govardhan. Thank you.
Ballroom is fun too. Wow, queen. Oh, thank you. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhashatra Deshatarine. Can I have the other one? That one's broken. That one. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Govardhana Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare everybody. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Shingaya Namaste Narashingaya Saladayine Saladayine Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Hitona Shinga Paratona Shinga Yato Yato Yamitato Nashinga Bahina Shinga Ridayina Shinga Honara Shinga Madim Saranam Prapadye Tava Kara Kamala Varenakam Adhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubingam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gara Hariba, 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 Nitai Gara Hariba. Nitai Gara Hariba, 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 Nitai Gara Hariba. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Quick, there's no time. Start singing then. Good. Shingadev Bhagavan ki, Bhaktaraj Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. So now we will be having Damodar Arati. So those who are not showing the lamp can be seated where you're standing. And there is a line that's going to form around here. So you can do Achman, wash your hands, show your lamp in front of the deities, and then place it in the sand. Somebody will help you with that as well. So please be seated, and you can also form a line to show the lamp. Namamishwaram Sachid Anandarupa Lasat Kundalam Gokul Lopajamanam. Namamishwaram Sachid Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokul Vajamanam. Yashoda Viyolu Kaladavamanam. Yashoda Viyolu Kaladavamanam. Paramrishnamatyanta Todritya Gopya. Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Vajamanam. Yashoda Viyolu Kaladavamanam. Paramishnamatanta Kodita Gopya. Rudanta Muhurnitra Yugmam Vijantam Karamoja Yugmena Shatankanitam. Shasaka Patri Re Kanta Kantha श्वासकं पात्रीरेकान्तकण्ठ स्थितगर्वङ्गामोदरं भक्तिभावम् इति दृक्षलीलाभिरानन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तं माख्यापयन्तम् तदीयशितागिषु भक्तजिता त्वम् तदीयशितागिषु भक्तजिता त्वम् पुनर्प्रेमकस्तं शतावृत्ति वन्दे नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसकुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानम् यशोदपियोलुकलादवमानम् पायामिषमत्यन्ततोदितगोप्या वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यविनेहं वरेशादपीह इदं तेव पूर्णथ गोपालबालम् इदं तेव पूर्णथ गोपालबालम् अमे मनस्य वीरास्तं किमन्ये सदा मे मनस्य वीरास्तं किमन्ये इदं ते मुखाम्बोजमत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुण्डलैः स्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्या मुखाम्बोजम् आत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुण्डलैः इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् आत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुण्डलैः स्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्या मोहशुम्बितां बिम्बरक्तदरं मे मोहशुम्बितां बिम्बरक्तदरं मे मनस्य विरस्तं मरं लक्षलाभे नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजालब्धिमग्नम् दामोदरानन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजालब्धिमग्नम् वृष्याति दीनं वतानो कृपा दृष्टि वृष्याति दीनं वतानो गृहाने क्षमामख्यं ये दक्षिदेश्य नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसकुण्डलं गोकुले भजमानम् यशोदाभियालुकलादवमानम् यशोदाभियालुकलादवमानम् परमेश्वरमत्यन्ततो तुत्यगोप्या कुबेरात्मजो बद्धमूर्त्यैवयत्वा त्वया मूर्छितो भक्तिबाजौ कृतौ च कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धमूर्त्यैवयत्वा त्वया मूर्छितौ भक्तिबाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं सकामे प्रयक्ष तथा प्रेम भक्तिं सकामे प्रयक्ष नमो क्षेत्रहो मे दामोदरेह नमस्तेस्तु धाम्नेस्तु राधीप्तिदाम्ने तदियोदराय यथा विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमस्तेस्तु दाम्नेस्तु राधीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदियोदराय यथा विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तोभ्यम् नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तोभ्यम् नमो अनंत लीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीय प्रियाय नमो अनंत लीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे दामोदर राधे जय राधा मदन मोहन श्री राधे जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय नरहरि जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय नरहरि जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. It's gonna be right there. I'll get it. I don't know what I'm. Jayati te dikham, Jayati te dikham, Janmana Vraja, Shayata Indira, Shashvadatrahi, Daita Dishyata, Dishyutavaka, Saidrita Savas, Tvam Vichinvate, Sharadudashaye, Sadujata Sad, Sarasi Jodara, Shri Mushatisha, Suratanatate, Sukadasika, Varadanignata, Nehakim Vadam, Vishajalapyayan, Vyalarakshashan, Vashamarutan, Vaidutanalan, Majan, Vishvatabayad, Vishabhatevayam, Rakshitamu, Nakalu Gopika, Nandana Bhavan, Akhila Dehinam, Antaratmadik, Vishwaguptaye, Saka Udeyivan, Satvatam Kule, Virachita Bhayam, Vishni Duryate, Charanamiyusham, Samshrite Bhayat, Karasaroruham, Kantakamadam, Shirasi Dehinam, Ragaham, Vrajajanatihan, Virayoshitam, Nijananasmaya, Vamsanasmita, Vajasake Bhavat, Kinkarismano, Jalaruhananam, Charudarshaya, Pranata Dehinam, Papakarshanam, Trinacharanugam, Sriniketanam, Panipanarpitam, Te Padambujam, Krinukucheshunam, Krindirichyayam, Madhuraya Gira, Valguvakyaya, Buddha Manogyaya, Pushkarikshana, Vidikaririma, Viramuyati, Radhana Siduna, Pyayayasvana, Tava Kathamritam, Tapta Jivanam, Kavi Biriditam, Kalmasapaham, Shravana Mangalam, Shimadatatam, Bhuvi Vinantiye, Puridajanam, Prahasitam Priya, Prema Vikshanam, Viharanam Chate, Dhyana Mangalam, Rahasi Samvido, Yadidishpasha, Kuhakano Mana, Shobhayantihi, Chalasiyadvaja,
Charayan Pashun Nalina Sundaram Natate Padam Shilatunam Kure Dina Kalilatamana Kanta Gachati Dina Parikshaye Neelakuntale Vanaruhananam Vibradavritam Ganarajatvalam Manasina Smaram Virayachasi Pranatakamadam Padmajachitam Dharani Mandanam Dhyayamapadi Charanam Pankajam Shantamam Chate Ramananastanesh Arpayadiham Suratavardhanam Shokanashanam Svarita Venunam Shushtu Chumbitam Itararagavi Maranam Nrinam Vitaraviras Tedaramritam Atati Adbhavan Anikananam Tritiyugayate Dvamapasyatam Kutila Kuntilam Jata Udikshatam Patisutanyaya Bhratir Bandhavan Ati Vilangyate Tyachyutagata Gati Vidastava Kitavayoshita Kastya Jinishi Rahasi Samvidam Dayam Rahasitananam Prema Vikshanam Brihadrashiyam Vikshadamate Murati Spriha Muyate Mana Rajavanaukasam Yaktirangate Vijinahantralam Vishvamangalam Tyajatmanam Manam Svajanaridrujam Yani Shuddhanam Yatte Sujata Charanam Buruham Staneshu Bhita Shanai Priyadadi Mahi Karkasheshu Tena Tavimata Shitadvyatatena Kim Svit Kurpadibir Brahmatidir Bhavadayu Samna. Should I keep on going? Keep on singing. Sing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Prabhu, Jaya Mahaprabhu. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gada Haribol, 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 Nitai Gada Haribol. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari. No cooks today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Despite the Monday night, despite the fires in California and so many power outages, we're so happy to see this wonderful turnout for this auspicious day of Govardhana Puja. First of all, we'd like to thank deeply all the festival volunteers who put together this wonderful Govardhan Hill, which was so beautifully arranged. The devotees headed by Malini Mataji, who dressed the deities, and the wonderful cooks. We'd also like to thank His Grace Sunanda Prabhu, who gave a very wonderful class from the Krishna book today. And we'd like to thank Avantika for the wonderful Gopi Gita prayers. So coming up this week as festivals for ISV, we have Thursday a special event, which is the Disappearance Day of Srila Prabhupada. Please look out for the announcements. We will have an evening program similar to this one with special prayers and special arti to Srila Prabhupada, followed by a class and wonderful feast. So please look out for those announcements. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Vrindavan Priya Prabhu, who is seated over here as well. Are there any newcomers coming to ISV for the first time today? Welcome. Hi. Hare Krishna, welcome. Well, thank you so much for coming. So for all our newcomers, we'll chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is a weekday night, and we request that if you could spare a few minutes to help the cleaning team. If we all pitch in a little bit, we could clean this entire place very fast so everybody can be back home for the workday tomorrow. So that would be a great service on this very auspicious day. After Prasadam prayers, Prasadam will be served outside in the parking lot, and this feast has been cooked by a very, very grand number of devotees who put all their heart into this wonderful feast. So we hope you relish it. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you for coming, and see you on Thursday, which is Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day. Hare Krishna. Sharira Vidya Jal Jorindriya Tahe Kal Jive Fele Vishaya Sagore Dharmadya Jivayati Lobo Moy Sudurmati Taki Jita Kachina Samsare Krishna Barodoyamor Gauri Bhare Jivajai Swaprasad Anadilobai Sriyanamrita Pao Radha
Krishna guna gao. Preme raku Shri Chaitanya Nitai. Preme raku Shri Chaitanya Nitai. Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnave Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasone Vachayate Prashade Sarva Dukhanam Hanirasho Bachayate Pashchana Chita Suyasu Buddhi Paryavatishate Tvayopa Bhukta Shaganda Vasulankar Charchita Uchista Bhujino Dasas Tavamayam Jayamahi. Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasad Ki Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Please come take Prashadam.